Yeah. Hi, Mars. Am I audible? Am I audible, Mars? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Great. So please start working on the first para. Read the first para and connect the ideas between the different sentences and tell me what is the storyline or plot of the first para.
For some time now, the world's ocean.
Yeah. So what is this para talking about?
Regarding the fish, means every year the dolphin injured and all kind
Okay.
of stuff.
Okay. Is it only talking about the fish, or is it is emphasizing or focusing on a particular idea of the fish? Like if we look at this, okay, you'll see for some time now the world's oceans and the people who fish them have been a constant source of bad environmental
Bad
effects.
environmental.
Cod is effectively an endangered species of fish. So this is endangered, which is which means that cod is a species of fish that is basically on the verge of extinction. Okay. All right.
Okay.
In some places now, every year, thousands of dolphins are injured by fishing vessels.
Okay.
Huge tuna farms are ruining the Mediterranean Sea. So, in this particular para, they are saying that how the different species of fish, how the different
Yes.
species of fish, they
Species
are
of fish.
adversely affected, or they are, at the threat of all this fishing. Then, if you see what is more, marine biologists recently warned that our seafood is in terminal decline. So, getting endangered on the verge of extinction, they are diminishing in number. According to research published in Science last November, stocks of all the fish and the shellfish that we currently eat will collapse. So, a warning, precaution. There's a warning of some imminent danger that all these sea fish or
Go to 2050.
yes, they will be on the verge of decline, or they will be, endangered, or at least that's how the media reported it. Clear? Okay, so
Yeah.
what is this entire what is basic what basically is this entire para talking about? This entire para is basically talking about the fact that because of man-made actions, because of fishing, okay, all these different species of fish which are available in the oceans or which are the aquatic animals, they are under the threat of extinction. So there will be a point of time, maybe before 2050, when we will ideally have no seafood or no sea fish. Clear? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So moving on to the list of headings, and now you have to tell me. Ideally, when you're working on each of the para, do the underlining, circling, and then make a note of the central idea. That's something which is important. Here, I'm not making the note, but you have to make a note of the idea. Okay, so what should be the heading from here? Again, remember, each words don't matter. The idea from the entire heading put together has to match or has to be supported by the para. So there has to be a textual evidence, very clearly written. Okay.
A plan for more marine protected areas, or historical overview of one specific area, why more has not been done to save marine creatures. Well, but shown to help who is currently in. Aspect other than fishing is no reason for some optimism.
Yeah. What should be the heading?
Maybe the 5 or 6.
5, if you tell me where biodiversity has been shown to help. Is it saying anything about biodiversity is helping or something?
No.
Right? Sixth one is who is currently being blamed. So
Being
maybe,
blamed.
yeah, maybe we can say that, they are blaming this. So currently, probably they are blaming the fishing vessels. The fishing vessels.
Yes.
Yes. It
Yes.
is also saying that cod is effectively an endangered species of fish in some places now. So it's talking about some places. Anyways, I'm not confident. I'm not sure about the answer. So I'll not get stuck. I'll move on. Maybe I can hold on.
Okay.
Okay, maybe I can hold on. I can put A over here because I'm holding on. I'm not sure. I'm
Yes.
still confused. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. Moving on to the next para B. So the one very important thing, there are two things, that you have to understand when you're doing the reading module. First, remember that every right answer, how will you be sure about a particular answer or certain about a particular answer? Only when you have a textual evidence for that. So if you have a textual evidence for that particular, this thing, then you will have to understand that this is the answer. Second thing, there are always chances and there are always possibilities in the real-time exam also that you're getting confused between two or three answers. Do not get stuck. Move on. Okay. All right. Para B.
However, the scientist who led the study has said that the
Please read
main
on your own. Read on your
okay.
own. Yeah. Yeah. Is it done?
Yes.
Okay, so let's discuss. So see, it says however. So however is a contrasting linker, which means whatever
Yes.
you have read in the
Contrasting.
previous para and whatever you will be reading now, that will be completely contrasting and contradicting. Then it says the scientist who led the study has said that the main conclusion of his
Main
research has
conclusion.
been buried beneath the headline. So, it is not, I mean, the main conclusion or the main inference that the scientist had drawn, that was kind of, that was covered, that was not revealed. Okay. Just a minute. ब्रिटेन के बाद ये वायरस संयुक्त राज्य अमेरिका में तेजी से फैल रहा है यहाँ. Yeah. Then you have, while the danger to our seafood supply is real enough, says Boris Baum, assistant professor so and so, there is a more serious point. So there is something, even more serious, which
More serious. Okay.
that the way in which we manage the oceans is not only threatening the survival of individual species, it's upsetting the delicate balance of marine communities. So it is not only that, the way we are handling, the way we are managing, or the actions that we are doing towards the oceans, there is no hard and fast rule that, it is only threatening the survival of individual species. Okay, it's not like that. All right, it is in fact causing an imbalance. It is striking an imbalance of the marine communities, and it is collapsing the entire ecosystem. Then it says research has shown that the number of ecosystems where all higher forms of life are extinct, so-called dead zones, is increasing. The point that many reports failed to highlight, so there's something that the reports have failed to highlight or failed to emphasize, is that we have to revolutionize the way our marine resources are run, changing the focus from stocks and quotas to biodiversity and ecosystem protection. So instead of focusing and emphasizing more on the numbers are diminishing, the numbers are increasing. It is better if we can focus and if we can start emphasizing more on protecting and preserving the biodiversity and the ecosystem. So this is what the reports have failed to emphasize, or the reports have failed to highlight. Is that clear? Yeah. And to do that, we must change the way the debate about our marine resources is conducted in the public domain. So this para is basically talking about a serious point which is hidden, which is still hidden. And there are certain points or certain things which the reports also have failed to highlight or also have failed to focus and emphasize. Clear? Okay. moving on to the headings. Now, which heading do you think matches? Again, remember, individual words don't matter. Individual words put
Yeah.
together, the idea of the entire heading has to either be supported by the idea of the para or has to have a textual evidence. कुछ ऐसे words होने चाहिए, कुछ phrases होने चाहिए, आप एक साथ लगाओगे तो same meaning आएगा. ठीक है? So what should be the heading?
Fifth one. Oh,
Which one?
fifth.
Fifth. Where by the again? Where is it showing to help?
No. Just once again.
Do not give random answers. You've already read the para. You have a understanding
Yes.
of the para. Then why do you have to give me random answers? Yeah.
What the press has,
Yes. What the press has missed. Right.
because they missed actually.
Yes.
So
They
this is the
they
fourth
failed.
one.
They failed to report something. And what was that? That
Yes.
instead of focusing and emphasizing more on the numbers, that the numbers are increasing, the numbers are diminishing, it is better we start focusing or emphasizing on how to protect and preserve the biodiversity. Right?
Right.
Okay. So it should be these. So, okay. Starting to work on para C. Yes. Just a minute. Yeah, para C. Yeah. So what is this para talking about?
This para actually talking about most of the species actually disappear more than 500 years, or even for the fish they are reducing.
Right. See, if we see, it says around 7,500 years ago, shrinking glaciers, and the resulting
Yes.
higher water levels led to the development of what's called the Wedding Sea. During the first 5,000 years or so, the sea pulsated with life. So, it was very lively, pulsated with life. There was a high level of biodiversity on the seabed too. So, high level of biodiversity was there. Salt, and the salt marshes and mudfloods on the coast supported millions of birds. This continued until around 2000 years ago when human pressure began to affect it. So there was human pressure. And what do we
Pressure
mean by
began.
human pressure? Probably, the man-made actions, people and
Yes.
human beings, kind of posing a threat to the aquatic life, to the marine life. That's what it is saying. Research has shown that some of the larger creatures disappeared. Okay. And by the late 19th century, populations of most of the other mammals and fish
The
were
mammals and fish were
leading to
several reduced.
collapse of several
Traditional fishes.
species. Okay. So ideally, if you look at this para is basically talking about the fact that, see, initially everything was good. Initially everything was fine. Okay. But gradually what happened is that That just give me 1 second.
Water level actually increase.
Yeah. Initially, what happened was that everything was fine. Okay, everything was good. There was high level of biodiversity. There was salt marshes, mud flats. Everything was fine, but gradually, as the human pressure, increased. So human pressure, as in which basically means that using all these misusing for your selfish objectives, fishing, and all these things. That is when it started disappearing. There was on the verge of extinction and became endangered. Clear? Right.
Yeah.
So now let's go back to the list of headings and tell me which heading works. Which heading works?
We can use for 6-1 who is currently being blamed.
Who is currently being blamed? Okay, so you're trying to say human pressure. Because
Yeah,
of human
human
pressure. So
pressure.
humans are, you are saying that humans are being blamed.
Pressure begin and to.
Okay, okay. Okay, we can hold on to that again. I'm not quite confident. Okay, so we can hold on. We can definitely hold on. Okay, all right, fine. Moving on to para D. Okay, done? Done with this para? Shall we
Yes.
discuss? Okay. So
Yes.
if you look at this para, it says that what's interesting is that overfishing isn't the main agent of the
Not
decline.
them.
Okay, so overfishing is not the main agent of decline, as we might assume. It's not that, because, I mean, it's what it's trying to say is overfishing is not the main factor. Okay. It's due to an ongoing combination of exploitation, habitat destruction, and pollution. So all the other factors, which are basically also responsible along with overfishing to worsen the situation. So if you see coastal development, for example, destroys large areas of wetlands and that support a range of species. Pollution fuels a process known as this nutrients such as and this over enrichment of sea. So it's giving you the process how habitat destruction, how pollution actually worsens the situation. Now, moving to the next part, it says most marine ecosystems have an inbuilt capacity to deal with a certain amount of pollution. They have an inbuilt capacity. But in many cases, but is a contrasting linker. These have been largely removed by fishing. So another problem. So the effect of any nutrient-rich pollutants entering the system is increased. In a healthy system, coastal wetlands also act as filters. So their destruction causes. So this entire para is talking about the different factors which are responsible for worsening the situation of, the decline in the number of seafood, the decline in the number of all the adverse effects and adverse consequences on the lives of the aquatic species. And it is also describing the process, right? Okay, fine. Moving on to the list of headings. So can we go to the list of heading and can you tell me which heading works? Which heading works?
Mm. Um, for some
Yeah.
seventh one.
Yes, various factors other than fishing. So it's talking about the various other factors, right? It's talking about exploitation, then habitat destruction and pollution.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Great, great. So D should be the last one. So see, unless you read the entire para, unless you have a global understanding of the entire para, you would never be able to make out. All right.
Mm.
So all this thing. Okay, just give me 1 second. Yeah. Hi, Aparna.
Hi, ma'am.
Yeah. Hi.
I have
No, no.
session today.
Today you don't have a session actually. So today's a
Okay.
so you don't have a session.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Tomorrow.
okay. Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. Okay. Mars Para E.
Yes.
Yeah. She's she's actually from London. So most of my students are from abroad only. So today she's not supposed to have a session, but I think somehow I mean, because the link is same, right? So I think she just joined in. Yeah. Okay. Para E. Yeah. Done, Mars, with Para B.
Yes.
Yeah, Para E. So tell me, what is Para E talking about?
Uh, they are demonstrating, the science paper demonstrated that the decline means the health of ecosystem is greater where the number of different species is low.
Okay, so if you look at this, it says that what the science paper has demonstrated, however, is that the decline in the health of ecosystem is greater,
Yes.
where the number of different species is low. So it's saying that, wherever, in whichever ecosystem, I mean, the health of the ecosystem is declining at a very faster rate, at a very substantial rate, where the number of different species is low. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. The population of marble rock cod around South Atlantic island of so-and-so, for example, still hasn't recovered after the fishing industry caused its collapse during the 1970s. By contrast, contradicting, North Sea cod, so two different types, has withstood very heavy fishing for hundreds of years, says Warren, and although it has declined substantially, it hasn't yet collapsed completely. So it's talking about two different species of cod. One could not withstand this heavy fishing, and there's another that could withstand could withstand heavy fishing and did not collapse completely. Worm believes that to have a greater number of species makes an ecosystem more robust. So greater number of species. His theory is backed up by evidence from experiments and how ecosystems react to change. So this para is talking about how you can improve the health of ecosystem. How can you improve the health of ecosystem if you are having more number of different species, right? Yeah. Okay, so let us go back to the list of headings and find out which heading matches.
Can you down little bit?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Could you find out the most appropriate heading? How about this one, where biodiversity has been shown to help? Biodiversity means variety, right? So
All right. Yes.
if you look at the para, you will see that the
It's
para
showing the
that the greater number of species. See, the first line itself says that the decline in the health of ecosystems is greater, but the number of different species is low. So the more the variety, the better, right? Yes. So the answer should be E. Clear?
yeah.
Mars, is that clear?
Yes, clear.
What's your full name? Is it Mars? How can Mars be your full name?
My name is Maz only.
Oh, your name is Mars only. How's that? I mean,
It's MAAZ.
okay. कैसे मतलब I mean, what's your surname? Mars something, right? Mars Kulkarni.
Sheikh.
Okay, all right. So because of that, you have this name as Mars. Okay. And what is the meaning of your name, by the way?
Maz is actually protector.
Quite complicated meaning. Huh? I mean, sometimes I feel that, how come parents keep such, have so much of thought behind naming a child, right? So, but they say that, it goes, you resonate with your name, right? Mostly. So
Yes.
your name is Mars, and if it means protector, then probably you will be defending and protecting your family and people around you or people you love. Okay, the next set of paras. What I'll be doing is I will be closing this room and I'll be starting another room. You can join in with the same link. Okay.
Same link.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember all the sessions for IELTS, same link. For corporate communication, there'll be a different link. Okay.
Okay.